Hey folks, David Wills here with TED-IELTS, and today we're going to be talking about task achievement. We're looking at how to write an IELTS Task 2 essay and how you can get a good grade for it. One of those 4 parts of the exam is task achievement. We can see here the IELTS band descriptors, and this is from the British Council website, which you can see up at the top here. You can find these by searching Google for it. This is really helpful because it can tell you everything you need to know to score highly in IELTS for the writing exam. But today we're just going to be looking at task achievement. We're going to be thinking what it takes to get a good answer. Essentially, task achievement is all about how you answer the question. So it sounds really easy, right? But actually, it's not as easy as it sounds. I mark a lot of students' essays, and we're going to be looking at some of those today to show just how difficult, in fact, it can be. So let's look then at the task achievement band descriptors from 9 down to, let's say, 4. In fact, we're not going to look at all of them, but we'll just look at a few of them today. To get a band 4 in task achievement, it says here responds to the task in only a minimal way, or the answer is tangential. Tangential means it is related to but not exactly answering something. Furthermore, presents a position, but this is unclear. Unclear meaning maybe it changes through the essay or it's not obvious to the examiner, and presents some main ideas, but these are difficult to identify and maybe repetitive, irrelevant, or not well supported. So there's kind of a lot there to think about, but essentially what it's saying is in the middle of the essay, when you're presenting your ideas, there's going to be some big problems. So to get a band 4, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. The question is not going to be answered very well, and what answer there is not going to be very full. Let's actually look at an example of a band 4 essay. Now we're going to look at 4 essays today, and these are all on the same question, this question up here. Despite the growing number of gyms and fitness centers, more and more people are leading a sedentary lifestyle in modern society. What problems are associated with this? What solutions can you suggest? So first of all, let's just take a moment to analyze the question, because that's what you should be doing when you're doing the writing exam. So our key information here, so we're looking at gyms and fitness centers, and despite this, people are now living a sedentary lifestyle. This word here, sedentary, so this is kind of an important word for this task. Sedentary means not moving very much. If you are a sedentary person, maybe you stay at home sitting down playing computer games all day. It means you don't move enough. Some micro keywords. We've also got this modern society, so we can't talk about the past too much. The fact that there's a growing number of gyms and fitness centers, and there's a growing number of people, right? So the actual questions here, this is a problems and solutions question. So what problems are associated with this, and what solutions can you suggest? Now, the problems associated with this, we're not looking at causes. We're not looking at why this is happening. This is the problems that stem from this sedentary lifestyle. So that is one thing to think about. Often this type of question is asking you to think of the causes more than this problem. And solutions, meaning how can we solve the problem of this increasingly sedentary lifestyle. So let's look at this question here. As you can see, I have marked it with a lot of changes here, and I've written a few comments in the right. This is for one of my students from a few months ago. This is from my IELTS writing correction service. You can find details of that below. It's very affordable and it's very fast. I'll give you all of this within 24 hours and I will highlight pretty much all of your changes. So this essay is actually not too bad in many ways. You can see the number of changes in red that I've made is quite minimal, really. So this person has done quite well. However, I'm showing you this because they've done poorly in one respect. So let's look down to the estimated band score. And that will take us down here. So this person has scored just a 4 for task achievement. Now, it's quite unusual because actually in terms of IELTS Task 2, usually people score quite highly for task achievement and quite poorly for these other 3. In this case though, the coherence and cohesion, meaning the structure and the internal linking of sentences, has been very good. The vocabulary is very good. And the grammar actually also quite good, but with just a few too many mistakes to achieve a 7. So this task achievement is the big problem, just a band 4. So let's look up here again. Why is this a band 4? Well, we're talking about sedentary lifestyle. And right at the beginning, this person says, sedentary lifestyle is less problematic than the excessive consumption of a high-calorie content. I should say high-calorie diet. So this problem here, he goes on to talk about junk food, such as eating at McDonald's. Then he's talking about burgers and fries. Then he comes to the solution, and the solution is again talking about the dangers of being overweight due to going to the local burger joint. Good language, by the way. Then talking about fatty foods and obesity-related diabetes. So what is the problem here? Well, this question was asking about a sedentary lifestyle. Now, sedentary lifestyle, as I said, means not moving enough, not doing enough exercise, not walking frequently. Instead, this person is talking about eating. If we go back to the marking rubric, we can see that this is tangential. Eating poorly and not doing enough exercise are related, but they're not the same thing. So this person has really responded to the task in a minimal way that is tangential. So that is why this person has scored a 4, even though the other parts of their writing were quite good. We're going to skip 5. 5's a little better, but we're going to go ahead and look at a 6 that I think will be more useful. So 6 means addresses all parts of the task, so much better than a 4. However, some parts may be covered more fully than others. So there's maybe more detail for the solution than the problem, or more detail for the problem than the solution. There will be a relevant position, but maybe there's some problems with that. And the main ideas will be presented quite well, but some parts of it may be inadequately developed or unclear. So let's look at a band 6 essay here. As you can see, the question is the same. It's about the sedentary lifestyle despite the growing number of gyms and so on. If we look at this essay, we can actually see there are more problems with it than there were in the other essay. There's far more red in this one. These are the changes that I've made, and you can see my comments, there are more of them as well. So let's skip down to the estimated band score. You can see this person actually did worse than the first one, but that's because their coherence and cohesion, lexical resource were poorer, and their grammar was also a little weaker. But the task achievement was better. 6 is really more of an average score. 6 is something that a lot of people can achieve. It basically means you have answered the question quite well. If we read through this essay, then what we can see is that they have fulfilled the criteria that we saw here. They have addressed all parts of the task, but maybe not perfectly. They've got a position, but maybe unclear. We can see here that they have an introduction that fulfills the basic criteria. So they have expressed their main idea here in these sentences, and then we have a sentence that outlines the essay. This essay will discuss the problems. So the introduction is actually excellent. Then the next paragraph is going to talk about the problems, and the next paragraph is going to talk about the solutions. In other words, how to prevent these problems. It's pretty good, but it could be better. I feel that this person has answered the question, but they've not really given an amazing answer. Some parts, such as this one here, they really could have been expanded. There could have been more details, could have been better explanation. And this final sentence here, I don't think adds any value to the paragraph. It's kind of a repetition, really. I think this next paragraph was a little better, but it was really quite basic. It didn't give any great insight. What do you need to do then to perform better? Well, let's look at a 7 here. We can see, again, same question, of course, and this essay looks much better. Again, we can see a similar number of comments in the margin here. There are a lot of changes in terms of grammar. This person here has done similar to the previous one, although their grammar is a little better. They've got a 6 for coherence and cohesion, 6 for lexical resource, that's vocabulary, by the way, and a 6 for grammar. But their task achievement is a 7. So to get a 7, what do we need? Address all parts of the task. So everything is going to be answered. A clear position, and basically extends and supports their main ideas. However, as you can see here, there may be a tendency to overgeneralize or may lack focus. In other words, it's very good, but there are some imperfections there. So let's look at this. I feel, looking at this answer, the person has said everything that they could. It's just that their answer could have been a little better. For me, this was a really good essay in terms of answering the question. There was one problem here at the end where he adds something new in towards in the conclusion that hadn't previously been mentioned, although that's really more of an issue with coherence and cohesion. For me, the third paragraph, I didn't find this a particularly convincing argument. The idea of doing a physical workout, it's quite basic. It's certainly good enough that it answers the question, but it's not good enough that it's going to get a band 8 or 9, I think. Furthermore, all the points here in body paragraph 1 and 2, I feel they are stated well and developed well. They certainly could have been better. So how do we actually improve upon this then? Well, I always write a sample band 9 answer for my students at the end of every essay, and we'll look down at this one here. You can see in my answer, I've laid it out in the basic 4-paragraph structure. In my introduction, I explain quite clearly what I'm going to talk about. I introduce the problem, and then I give a very short sentence just to say what this essay is going to do. It will look at the problems and solutions. Then I do look at the problems and solutions. First of all, we look at the problems stemming from a sedentary lifestyle, which are, as I say, numerous, but mostly relating to health. So I express my ideas here. The human body has evolved over millions of years to be active. We're not used to sitting around all day. I use some great language like bones, ligaments, muscles to further explain my point. Then I bring it into the modern era, saying what people are doing nowadays. Then I express this a little more clearly. Moreover, by not moving about enough, we face the problem of burning insufficient calories. This is why people are getting fat. And then I explain the result of that. So I've really answered this very much in depth and in a very logical way, at least the first part of the question, the problems. Solving this is not going to be easy, so I express this is my topic sentence, and I say because people don't want to go back to hard work and long distance walking. Then I introduce my solution, which is education. Then we further that by explaining how education could work. We give more details. Then we go beyond education. So we talk about the workplace. And then in the final sentence, it is simply too easy for people to avoid activity when they are confined to a desk or a car seat. So here in this paragraph, I've given two solutions. I've linked the solutions together and I've expanded upon these two solutions. For my conclusion then, I restate my first idea, which is the modern trend towards inactivity is worrying because it causes health problems. Those health problems, I don't need to go back and repeat these. And then I mention the solutions. Solving this problem will be a major challenge, but there are some things that can be done. It's important not to repeat yourself. I could have alluded to these more specifically, but I've fulfilled all the criteria in order to get a band 9 here. As you can see here, addresses all parts of the task fully, gives a fully developed position, and fully extended and well supported ideas. When it says well supported ideas, oh, I can't highlight that. You can see here what that means. So I present my idea at the beginning here, like this. The support is pretty much everything that comes after that to build upon one sentence with another sentence and so on. Right, guys, if you want to get better at your IELTS exam, particularly for writing, you can get in touch with me and I will leave the link down below to my writing correction service. You can answer any question you want. I will give you commentary just like this with all the changes necessary made. I'll also write about a page of commentary like this for you, showing any mistakes that you have done. I'll give you your full band scores like this, and I'll write my own sample band 9 answer to help you see how it could have perfectly been done. I hope this video was helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and check back next week for another helpful IELTS tutorial. Goodbye.